So speaking of licensing, one of the biggest and sorest spots right now when it comes to licensing is related to data that's used to either train or maintain an AI model. Um, I mean, this is a tough one because the rules are still being determined in the courts. And in some ways, copyright people on many sides of this issue, whether you're arguing for fair use or you're arguing that artists need to be compensated differently, which I was on the other end of the spectrum, um, is that we don't really know if copyright is going to be the right container to hold the concept of ownership that a creative person has when their data is taken and used to train a model or used in inference in maintaining a model. So and what is the output? Can the output then be licensed and be copyrightable or licensable, monetizable? So, I mean, I'm not going to talk about a can of worms. We're not going to totally pull out all these giant night crawlers, but how, you know, if we get licensing right, I think there's some theories that this could grow to be as big as streaming when it comes to revenue source. What do you see there? What are you thinking about?
So there's so many possibilities here, and it's hard to say like these are the companies that are solving this right now, because some of them are the generative AI platforms that have to solve some really hard things. Some of them took some shortcuts to try to bring it to market without solving some of those problems. Suno. But you know, I do believe there are some models that haven't even been imagined yet, but I think it's really important for us to look at all the ways in which people are using tech to start thinking about AI licensing, because that's what actually allows for the monetization of the rights of music, whether it's the composition or the recording. There's also some NIL stuff, name, image, likeness stuff that's, I think, involved with AI too, because when you prompt somebody's name, you're not just using their music. You're actually now talking about their style. You're talking about their voice, and their stylistic license or likeness is relevant to this too. So I think there's going to be licensed AI music training platforms that we should be looking at here, because if they're licensed, then they're creating a revenue stream for the music industry. And I also want to emphasize that I think there's two forms of payment that need to happen with generative AI. One of them is on the training side. Yes, you have permission to train on this and build our model. And then one of them is on, well, maybe there's three, because then there's the generation side, like the person who's using it. This is probably built into the same license, but the person who's using an AI platform is saying, hey, I want a song that sounds like Tristra, but is reggae and doesn't have any didgeridoo or something like that. Then all of a sudden,
hey, I love my didgeridoo.
But so that's kind of the front end. The training and generation is kind of like one end of where I think money can be exchanged for the use of that. But then there's the back end. Then Dmitri takes Tristra's regenerated song, and I publish it to Spotify. I distribute it to Spotify, to Apple, to YouTube, to wherever. And I'm generating money off that. I think the original rights holders are co-writers in this. So you need to really have both payment for the training and then also payment for the listening at the other end. And so if we get it right, we could be creating some great music that is a collaboration between the original songwriter and recording artist or rights holders and the AI user who becomes the AI creator, so that they both get a split from all of that. So the technology required for those two things are not exactly the same, because one of them has to do with how do we train the data, and one of them has to do with how do we track the payment for the use of those, listening of those songs or the sync of those songs somewhere else back to both the AI creator and the original songwriter or recording artist.
With the understanding that the output could be seen as directly competing with the original.
So I got a solution for that.
That's I mean, it's a little bit different from the from the previous copyright model, because rarely when someone violated copyright, they're either copying it, they usually weren't going to the trouble.
So there's two solutions. There's two solutions for that. Everyone's talking about, let's put these UDOs and Sunos in a walled garden so that can't happen. It won't compete elsewhere. But there's also a curation tier.
Deezer just said that 50% of their uploads are AI generated.
Yeah, insane. So it's getting out of the walled garden.
It's leaking.
There's squirrels. These songs are squirrels.
Squirrels. It's like a squirrel infestation.
That's what our AI panel should be called. Squirrel infestation.
Exclamation mark. Yeah.
But there's a curation layer that can happen there. And there's a very extreme version, and then there's a lighter version. One of them is, what if Taylor Swift said, I want my fans to collaborate with me. This is not about Suno training on my stuff. This is my stuff, and my fans and I are going to have a collaborative opportunity. Taylor Swift's going to I'm making this up. Say that Taylor Swift has her own AI ecosystem where she says, I've got one more song needed for the album. I've got the melody and the chorus, and I want help writing the lyrics. Or I want you to change the beat. Or I want you to help me with my mashup album. Fans, I've written the songs. I want you to mash up each of these songs, and we'll release them, and our fans will become famous with me. And our fans will get a revenue share with me. And it turns into a whole fan engagement campaign where everyone's like, holy shit, I am co-writing with AI a song with Taylor Swift, or something like that. It could be anybody. It doesn't have to be her.
Kind of like what Grimes tried to do with her when she was letting people use her voice model.
Yeah, but Taylor Swift might control the model a lot more tightly, and also might have a fan base that actually does want to collaborate with her in that kind of way. Then you could take it to sort of like the remix level, where it's not necessarily like you're going to do the whole thing, but just sort of like, hey, we're doing a remix contest with my AI rather than out there in the world with somebody else's, and we only pick one or three, the summer remix and the winter remix and the Christmas remix that we're going to release, but the rest are just, you had fun with it, but you can't monetize it.
Cool. And so right now, I think we're just at the attribution phase. So trying to figure out what went in, what's impacting what a model outputs. And the folks that are doing that are companies like Musical AI for training data, Ecoa for inference data, which is sort of the next step after you have a trained model. And there are other people out there trying to address some of these issues like pretty much head on, which is great. I mean, I feel like the response has been so much faster than in past technological wobbles.
Yeah. And I think, like I said at the beginning, I think a lot of the solutions are going to come from generative AI companies solving it themselves as well. I'm not saying there won't be an ecosystem of other tools and layers, but even just the idea that you can charge people tokens rather than subscriptions is a potential growth area for music. Like just getting people's behavior to be like, oh, I'm going to pay on a per use basis starts to feel like, oh, you could start to optimize beyond the all you can eat subscription. But anyway, there's a lot to be said about this, but I wanted to just pull out AI licensing as a separate category because it's so just emerging now.